This is a 2013 Dodge Grand Caravan, transmission problems. I get a p083b that I've been playing with for almost a year. And so I'm going to go through some screen grabs and pictures and upload this before the fix. I'm so confident. And then I'll report back as to what happened. But I'm very confident to fix the p083b is the transmission pressure sensor. Some people call it a solenoid. It's not, it's a sensor. Okay, so let me show you the codes from a few months back. Okay, this camshaft position sensor, disregard that. I did replace that, and all the codes went out, including this p083b. And so I thought I was good to go. Okay, but it can be sporadic, and you can think you've got a fix that goes on for weeks or months, and then you'll end up doing stuff like it won't shift into higher gear, and then you pull over, shut the motor off, turn it back on, and it resets it, and then you go on your business and do what you want, possibly for days, possibly for weeks. That was my issue, was exactly what I just said. Okay, I changed the fluid and the filter. The fluid was dirty, but not burnt. And so when this p083b went out, it probably was because of that. So let's go through these pictures. And remember, I'm biased towards the camshaft transmission fluid pressure sensor, just like it says here. So I'm not telling you what to do, but look through these pictures and screen grabs that I've done over the months, and I'll plead my case, and then I'll report back if it fixed it, which I know that it will. I mean, I'm 99% positive. And so I'm going to save about $3,000. I'm going to take my time, take it easy. It's over 100 degrees out there, and probably take a couple days. So here we go. First of all, with the transmission fluid, this dipstick here works. I got it, and here's the transmission fluid. There's a big question about how do you know what the level is, and how do they put it in when it's purchased or when it's built? Okay, what they do is they put the pan on without a gasket and with a sealant, which isn't the way to do it if you do it. Use a gasket. Why? Because when they assemble the motor and transmission, it's done dry. And this plug here is out. And so they fill it up until it comes out. And then they put the plug in. That's your level of your transmission fluid. Now, what this arrow here shows is when you put in the dipstick, whether you use your oil pan dipstick or use what you're going to see, what I use, I bought, smartest thing I ever did, that dipstick is coming up against here and hitting here. Now, if you use your oil dipstick, just be aware that when you stick it down in there, you're not sure what it's hitting, like when it goes around the bends and stuff. And so you go ahead and for a positive feel, you push it down further and it goes down in. Well, what it's doing is it's slipping off. As you rotate it, it slips off to the side and goes way down into the bottom of the tank, to the bottom of where the fluid is. Okay, so you can use your oil dipstick, but I advise against it. Disregard those videos you see that, well, I ain't gonna buy no dipstick. Who needs one? I'll just use my oil dipstick. Well, I can do both, and I do both. But I advise get the dipstick. Now these readings, notice that at the one point in the comments, the cleaning is what resolved the standalone intermittent code p083b. Now notice the next statement. So you have to be careful reading the comments. he says the p083b would have also been resolved by replacing the entire shift solenoid assembly. Now, what that means, he's referring to the valve body with all the solenoid. There's like 6 in there. Okay, well, he doesn't know that. He's surmising, he's guessing. See, he didn't do it. That if he replaced the entire valve body, which is like $120, it would not have fixed the problem because the transmission pressure switch, not a solenoid, the switch is separate and it sits outside of the valve body. That's what I'm going to be fixing. Okay, let's continue on. There's the transmission pressure sensor switch. It's not a solenoid. Now, to do the valve body, this entire valve body, which I was ready to do that, you undo all these bolts and take this whole thing off. This is not attached to that. Now, when I was fooling around the past year, I broke down when this problem started to come back. I added some of this, a little bit, just to experiment. It made no difference. And it possibly is why it started, the p083s and shifting started happening worse and worse, possibly because this clogged the filters that you're going to see, the screens. Okay, now this is my gift to the community, the Dodge Caravan community. So see how the right, they're all level, like when they go up against the, when you put it down in there. Here's the one in the middle, there's the one to get. You'll be glad. When you put it down in the dipstick thing, it's a solid hit and it gives you your reading. Notice here it says cold running here. And here's normal running, hot and cold. There's your normal running level. Notice how on the oil dipstick, it's also right in this range here. Okay, now with the engine off, here's at least a starting point. With the engine off, your level, of course, is going to be way up here at about 105, or it'd be way up here on the oil dipstick. So see there, that's my present. You can do a screen grab and save that. You can thank me later. Let's read through some of these, and this is how you can get into trouble, because these are like computer generated. This isn't a person talking. The automobile fault code p083b could be caused by a faulty transmission fluid pressure sensor switch, which I believe that it is, and that I'm going to fix my problem. Yes, it's going to fix it, and I will upload a video afterwards showing that it worked. Now it says, or an open switch, or poor electrical connection, and blah, blah, blah. So you do fiddle with your plugins to see if it fixes it, but it likely isn't going to. Notice the top one, the fault code, faulty transmission fluid pressure sensor switch. There you go. Then it starts listing everything. And then it sends you off in different directions. With a transmission fluid pressure sensor switch. Okay, so the main thing that you keep running into, that probably, not definitely, but it probably leads to your problem. And so I was avoiding replacing that switch because of the fear of it. So I'm going to start today, and I'm going to replace it. Now look at what these comments on one of the videos. This is having the same problem with a 2016 Town and Country. Replace both the transmission fluid pressure sensor, torque converter, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And it was so dirty, it left a couple millimeters of muck in the bottom of the drain pan. I even tried a partial change before attacking the solenoids with minor improvements. Notice that he attacked the solenoids with minor improvements. Well, he doesn't know what gave those minor improvements. It could have been because of him changing the oil, the fluid. After replacing the switch and fluids, it ran great, except for an occasional mild bump around 4th, 5th gear, blah, blah. And now 500 miles, I have exact same problems you're describing again. But now it's showing p084a. Now I need to look that up. But notice that the people are responding that things were dirty, and that's why that screen is clogged on my pressure sensor. It's not the wiring inside that switch, it's the screen, which I'll prove when I take it out. I'll do another drain and fill, and that possibly could help his problem. Now look below. This is where I got led off 2 months back. And he says, yes, I did. I also clean connectors outside or around the transmission with electronic cleaner and add electrical grease on the connectors. Problem was solved. Well, he doesn't know for sure what solved it. It could have been those connectors. It could have been, but it very likely wasn't. 083b issue with now here's the bullshit you can run into. The OBD code 083b for Dodge indicates an issue with a TIPM transmission control output circuit. Well, it's not the transmission output control circuit. It's that it's not sending the command because it's getting the wrong pressure from the sensor. So the sensor sends the command to the computer that a correct shift has taken place, and then it does its thing. Okay, if a correct shift has not taken place, well, then it doesn't, and it won't. Your bands won't grab and shift into gear. And so here it makes it sound like the people say, well, it's your TIPM, because they run across garbage like this. It's not your TIPM, it's that the signal from this causes me a problem with the LC pressure signal circuit or the transmission solenoid. Well, it's not transmission solenoid, it's transmission's pressure sensor. So this is the kind of stuff that leads people astray. This one here, flat out, is wrong in my case. I don't know what your case says. Details of the Dodge p083b relates to a clutch position sensor circuit issue. A problem with the clutch position sensor circuit, which is correct. Okay, the TIPM that sends the command to the transmission solenoids to clutch the bands, to put it in gear. If it's wrong, if the pressure sensor switch is clogged or for whatever reason, well, then these clutches it's referring to isn't talking to your clutch pedal in an old vehicle. It's talking about the clutch inside the transmission. To clutch position sensor circuit issue. Well, that's true. That's because it's not getting the correct codes because of the switch. This code is triggered by the power constraint module when it detects the clutch position signal is out of the expected range or not performing as it should. Now, this one is the root of the problem, my problem. I don't know what your problem is. The clutch position sensor is responsible for providing feedback to the PCM about the position of the clutch pedal. Now, it says clutch pedal. If the sensor signal is erratic or outside, the PCM will set code p083b. Why does it say clutch pedal? It says it to confuse you because this is done by artificial intelligence. When it saw clutch, it added the term pedal. This is artificial intelligence. This was not typed out by human. Clutch position, so it added pedal. It means the clutch is inside of the transmission, not the clutch pedal. Here's the screens. I took that picture, but the robbed picture screen grab is better. Now, see this series of screens? Those are going to be dirty and clogged. See there? See those screens? See why so many screens? Because of all the fluid that has to go through there to send the correct information of the pressure. When you've put it in gear and it sends the information to the control module as if it's put it into, as if a proper shift has taken place. There's a lot of stuff flowing through there. That's why so many screens, and they're going to be dirty and clogged on mine for a fact. Notice that it says control solenoid. It's not a solenoid for 62TE. Okay, yes, that's my transmission for the 2013 Dodge Grand Caravan. but it's not this exact thing. So when you order your part, see here, see wait a minute, maybe this is right. See, this is loose. Yes, this is the right one. Okay, I'm correcting myself. But be careful when you get the solenoid that you're getting the exact one. So see, this flops around loose. Uh, and so when you put the bolt in, then it holds it in position somehow. Okay, now the one I'm doing is not this one on the left. It's this one. That's another thing that will confuse you when you look at your videos and do your research. I'm doing this one. And there's the van in question. That concludes this video. I'm going to go out and fix it, save $3,000, and then I will upload my victory video in a couple of days. So stay tuned. If you like this video, uh, hit like. You can subscribe if you want, but hit like. Otherwise, they shadow list it where nobody sees it.